Michael Chandler, the time has come. It is truly Michael Chandler's last chance to get any sort of run going inside the UFC. Today, I'm going to take a look at his resume in the UFC and just see what went wrong, see what he could have done better, talk about his upcoming fight with Mauricio Ruf in a bit more detail, and see what he could do in the future of his career, if not retire if he loses this fight at the White House this weekend. Let's get straight into it. Alright, so Iron Michael Chandler, as he's known, has had a bit of a rough run inside the UFC. Over the last few years, started strong, and just over time, just completely fallen off as he's aged, as he's waited out for McGregor countless times. So if we look here, 23-10. He's got the Brazilian 10 as an American, bro. Might have to start calling the American 10. Poirier's got 10 losses. Chandler's got 10 losses. God forbid Max gets to 10 losses if he loses to Conor McGregor. You know, obviously, losses don't mean as much in MMA. I feel like MMA fighters are given quite a few more chances than boxers when it comes to losing. He's lost to like 10 different people, sometimes multiple of the same guy, like Oliveira, for example. And it doesn't really matter because they're like best of the best, top in the world. The rankings mean something more than they do in boxing. Like, obviously, if a boxer goes ahead and loses like 2 fights, they're counted out completely. They're not classed as like one of the greatest anymore. It's so stupid how that works. I hate boxing. It's corrupt as hell. Rico won that fight. I don't care. Michael Chandler's 11 of his 23 wins are by knockout. I don't know if he plays himself right, he could probably knock out Mauricio Ruf, but I think Ruf is too slick, man. He's like McGregor. In very, very many ways, he's like Conor McGregor. Probably why they gave Ruf to Chandler. Ruf fight down. 7 wins by submission. I actually didn't know he had that many submissions on his resume. 13 first round finishes. Good takedown accuracy because he's a wrestler. 1 takedown in the UFC with 34 attempted. How does that make it 41? Striking accuracy is 50%. He's always throwing haymakers, so it's hard to kind of land them every time. So he's got a pretty decent striking accuracy, I guess. Obviously in his last fight, back last year, bro's been out for over a year. Waiting for McGregor again. You know, he's lost to Pimblett. Kind of got mauled by Pimblett in Miami. On the same card, Volk won his belt back. Great card that was. I loved watching it. Pimblett dominated. I wish Pimblett beat Gaethje, but it is what it is. Oliveira and Chandler fought again. Oliveira dominated pretty much from start to finish to decision. Michael Chandler did that thing where he set himself backwards like a nuke. Poirier sub Chandler. I can't believe, bro. Poirier is in his last 3 fights. That was in 2022. Cleave waited out for McGregor that much. That's so stupid. Chandler vs Ferguson. That was his last win in the UFC against a very washed old Tony Ferguson. Still my goat though. Follows me on X, Twitter. My guy. Great boxer. Undefeated. World champion. Gaethje beat him. Gaethje's obviously interim champ right now. He's a belt. I was confused. These two didn't fight for the belt over 3 rounds. But yeah, it was kind of a banger fight. Chandler almost finished him a couple of times. Or at least hurt him bad. So Chandler's like, he's put up good fights. Like this fight, he put up a good fight. I think it was the head-on strikes in this fight for Dustin subbed him. Oliveira versus Chandler won. That was Chandler's second fight in the UFC. They called him up to get a shot at the vacant lightweight title. Had a very good first round. Looks like he would have won the title. Oliveira came back strong. Second round knocked him out very quickly. Crazy good fight. Love Charles Oliveira, even though it was the enemy for what he did to Max. Then obviously Michael Chandler's UFC debut against Dan Hooker. Slammed him out. Very impressive slam out. He looked like he was going to go ahead and do big things. He has done big things, but that comes in the form of losing and waiting for McGregor. Which sucks. Like, I like Michael Chandler. I'm not one of those guys that hates him, like everyone seems to do for some reason. Go to Topology. We'll go to his Topology here. Take a more informative look. You know, he's number 17th at lightweight on Topology rankings, which means he's out of the rankings for Topology, which is probably how the UFC should do it. Well, he's 2-5, sorry, not 2-6 in the UFC. 2-0 at Strikeforce, 18-5 at Bellator. This comes together to give him the 10 losses. 2 wins in the UFC is abysmal, bro. 1 against Chad Mendes in wrestling. He's still got his wrestling. Obviously, he's fought all the best people in the world. Fought Dan Hooker, fought Oliveira, fought Gaethje, fought Ferguson, fought Poirier, fought Oliveira again, lost. Fought Pimblett, got mauled. Now he fights Mauricio Ruf. And Mauricio Ruf is a marauder. This guy's very, very good. Took a couple of losses. Maybe just won in the UFC. Yeah, to Benoit Saint Denis. And they came back with a sneaky good win over Rafael Fiziev. Back on the same card where Volk defended his belt against Lopez for the second time. Now fights Michael Chandler. Honestly, one of the easier fights in his career, in my opinion. I think BSD has, like, really shot himself up there to the top 5 at lightweight. Like, BSD's gone on a really good run. So just how good is Rufy? Started his career off. Obviously had to go to the Contender Series because he's not Michael Chandler. Didn't get any sort of privilege. He won a title in a promotion just out of that. Or tournament finals. Contender Series. And beat a teammate of Islam Makhachev. So I'd say 10-1. 10-1 at the time. Now he's 11-2. Has he retired from MMA? Maybe. He fought middle of last year. Sorry. Almost exactly a year ago. Not got a fight booked. Ground and pound finishes him in the last round of the fight. Jamie Malarkey destroys him. James Long Top weighed in overweight, I think. Or it was late notice. It was like a catch weight at 160. Long Top ends up getting his ass beat. Really cool photos from that fight. Like Ruf like turning his head as he lands like a hook. Great dominant win. King Green. Viral knockout. Very, very good. Now we've seen the run Bobby Green's on right now. Ever since that loss. 3-fight win streak over a really solid competition. Not top 15 worthy competition, but still good competition. At his ripe age of 39 years old. You know, Bobby Green's very, very good. A lot of respect for him. He's getting his own custom shorts next fight. Very deserved, very deserved. Then we have the slip up, because BSD obviously has grappling, a very good grappling wrestling base, but he ends up getting riveted to the ground, kind of holding there, being very dominant. I think this fight was in France. And the last time BSD was in France, he got mauled by Marcano, another Brazilian. So he didn't want that happening again. Ends up getting the submission face crank win over Rufi in round 2 of a 3-rounder, I think. Obviously now we've seen what BSD has gone on to do in the sport. 17-3. These two are like the fights that started his new win streak after losing to Poirier and Marcano back to back. Right, you have the Dustin lost, Marcano lost. Kyle Poplik win. Not the greatest, honestly, but it's still a win. Misha Rufi, great win. Beneil Dariush, alright win. Very washed, but got him out of there in 16 seconds. That's what he should be doing to wash Beneil Dariush. Then Dan Hooker. You know, Dan Hooker put up a good fight. He's lanky, has those leg kicks. Kicks straight to the body. Obviously now BSD's fighting Paddy. I hope Paddy wins, obviously, in English. There's bias there. Now Rufi takes on Chandler. Like I said before, this is arguably one of Rufi's, easiest fights in the UFC. Chandler's not that great anymore. Or was he ever that great? I don't know. He's a solid Bellator fighter. Outside, has wins over Eddie Alvarez, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, here we go. Eddie Alvarez win for the title. Patricio Pitbull, brother of Patricio Pitbull. He's got a very solid resume. It's okay. A lot of losses here and there. Made his way to the UFC in 2021. Did good in his first fight, and just hasn't been great since. Got the win over a washed Tony Ferguson, like we mentioned earlier, but he's not really good enough, man. What should he do if he loses this fight to Rufi? In my opinion, I think Michael Chandler should retire if he loses to Mauricio Rufi. Been a good run, but he ain't going to fight Conor McGregor. And McGregor ain't going to want to wrestle him in RAF. Because Michael Chandler said, wherever it is, me and McGregor will end up facing off at some point. The best chance of that is like a boxing match for charity or something like that. But then again, what does McGregor care about charity? McGregor's got enough money, he could just go donate money to charity rather than having to fight Michael Chandler in a boxing match. Like, there's not really an argument to say Michael Chandler still has it. When was the last time he put up a good fight? The Pimblett loss. Bad luck for Chandler. He got mauled. Absolutely mauled. Now we saw what Gaethje did to Pimblett. Kind of mauled him back with all the fouls and stuff like that, Loki, a bit of a dirty fighter. Gaethje is. He might use that to his advantage against Poirier. But that being said, I think Chandler's a cool guy. I don't hate him. Like, obviously wish him well, but he's not done great in the UFC. Hasn't shown up when he needed to the most. It's a very short UFC career to say he's been here for 5 years now? When was his debut exactly? January 24th, 2021. That's almost 5.5 years. What's he done in that time? 2 wins, 5 losses, 7 fights in 5 years. But most people have 2 to 3. Imagine you doing 3 fights a year. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. That's 15 fights, not 7. That's could have double the fights if you want to start waiting. Skip 2022 completely. It's not good enough, honestly, in my opinion. You should have fought more. Why would you wait for McGregor? Why would you think McGregor's going to come back? Even after the Ultimate Fighter season. Him and Faber never fought. I know that was a late notice Ultimate Fighter, but, him and Faber never fought. Now, by the point he was doing an Ultimate Fight with Chandler, way too gone. Way too famous. Now McGregor's back. He's focused. We might see a McGregor-Chandler fight. Like a Chandler's retirement fight. If McGregor and Chandler both lose, match them up. Both have been losing streaks. It only makes sense to match up the losers of the division, I guess. McGregor Chandler's been a fight that's been called for years. Like 4 years at this point. It hasn't happened yet. I think it should happen at some point. Maybe. Even though that you said he should retire if he loses this fight. Which is, it's still true. It's also less threat of the wrestling if he's fighting Holloway. Either Holloway's going to whoop his ass. Or we're doing my picks video on that. When that card comes around. But yeah, I think the video was a bit of a useless rant. I don't really know what I went over in this video. Just a bit of a rant. But it is Michael Chandler's last chance to do something in this organisation, or he's going to get cut. He's not going to get cut. Dana White privilege. But he'll have to retire. He'll have to leave. What's the point in getting brain damage at 40? There's no point. He needs to be winning. He laid out that crazy plan of beating Makachev. That's never going to happen, bro. Got to be realistic. Fight down the rankings. You can probably beat some of those guys outside the rankings. But, it is what it is. That was my very useless rant about Michael Chandler. It's his last chance. Gotta lock in, buddy. I'll see you at the top.